What's up, everyone? Brian Phobos here for another pool meeting. It is November 11th and we are still in the pool, and this pool is not heated. It's about a 6 out of 10 on the Schrinkter scale, but we're here in Arizona. It's not too bad. But anyway, I want to talk about Bitcoin Cash today. Is it going to take over Bitcoin? What's going on with it? What is Bitcoin Cash? Just a quick synopsis for the people who are new, because there's a lot of new people into crypto. So basically what Bitcoin Cash was, there's been this scaling debate that's been going on for 3 years, that the block sizes weren't big enough. People's transactions were getting kicked to the next block. Transaction fees were going up. And it was a great thing. There's a lot of people coming into Bitcoin. And so there's tons of transactions on the network, but each block isn't big enough to hold them all. So stuff was getting kicked to the next block. So there was groups of people who wanted to scale Bitcoin, to have bigger blocks, and ultimately they couldn't come to consensus. Around August time frame, they were going to activate SegWit, which is segregated witness, and basically with that activation, it would allow other mechanisms to ride on top of the Bitcoin network. So there could be things like, for instance, the Lightning Network, where people could make these off-chain, kind of like riding on another layer. There would be these transactions that would ride on another layer. But there's some people who are like, that's not really Bitcoin. We just need to make the block sizes bigger. And right now it's 1 megabyte for Bitcoin. And there are people saying, let's go up to 4 megabytes, let's go up to 8 megabytes, let's get this figured out. I really feel like that should have happened back in 2015. They should have came to consensus. It should have been done. But the powers to be, it didn't come to be. And in August, basically Roger Ver, some different mining companies, some bigger players decided they were going to create Bitcoin Cash. And basically it was not going to have segregated witness. It was going to have 8 megabyte blocks instead of 1 megabyte. And that would solve the scaling. And then in the future, if it needed bigger blocks, they would be able to do that. So anyway, when it happened, a lot of people bought into Bitcoin so that they could get their free Bitcoin Cash, because when it split, everybody who had Bitcoin would end up with Bitcoin Cash, and you had these two diverging forks, like these two different chains. So, at that time I bought in, I brought more fiat to the table to get more Bitcoin Cash, and then I actually ended up quickly selling the Bitcoin Cash at that given time. Because of the way it surged, I just felt like it was going to fall from there, and it was going to take a lot of time for it to kind of come out in the wash. And that was actually true. A couple months passed. Bitcoin Cash got down to about $400. I sold it when it was like up in the 800s. Now it was kind of like not quite the peak, but it was kind of close to the peak. And it oscillated around in the 600s, and then it was down in the 400s. So during that time, there was more Bitcoin forks coming out. There was Bitcoin Gold. So that whole thing has been kind of weird. And then there was a SegWit 2x activation. And it looked like, since there wasn't pure 100% consensus, there was about 80% of the people were for the SegWit 2x activation, which would have gave Bitcoin 2 megabyte blocks. But then it was going to actually tear the community apart. And so at that time, I was basically riding, Bitcoin up, because all these people were buying in like, oh, there's going to be new coins, we're going to get free coins and all this stuff. Then a couple days ago, they backed out of the SegWit 2x activation, and suddenly, at the time it was like, well, what's going to happen with Bitcoin Cash? It's kind of the lone player here. The transaction fees are outrageous on the Bitcoin network. All the blocks are still filled up. And Bitcoin Cash has low transaction fees. It's a lot faster. We're not having the blocks filled up and stuff like that. So it's kind of like what Bitcoin was back in 2013 when I got involved in it. It's kind of cold here, guys. I'm starting to shiver. So anyway, that was basically what was going on. And then a couple days ago, I really saw that people were really starting to jump into Bitcoin Cash. Like, well, this thing performs better. There's other people behind it. Roger Ver's behind it. And if you don't know who Roger Ver is, they call him Bitcoin Jesus. He was one of the early investors in Bitcoin, and also an early investor in some Bitcoin startups. So basically a couple days ago, I converted a lot of my Bitcoin holdings over to Bitcoin Cash. And so I kind of ditched the Bitcoin rocket for now. For the most part, I still have some holdings ditched the Bitcoin rocket. Now I'm over on the Bitcoin Cash rocket, and it's shooting up. Now, the question that I'm presenting, and I'm calling Bitcoin Cash, the the cannibal honey badger, because Bitcoin's the honey badger of money, but Bitcoin Cash is coming to take its lunch, or eat it for lunch kind of thing. So will it get added to Coinbase? Now, Coinbase is not going to release the coins for the people who had Bitcoin on Coinbase back in August. They're not going to release those till January, which I don't know why they were going to wait that long. I don't understand that. I pulled everything. I didn't hold anything on Coinbase. I use Coinbase, but I didn't hold anything here. So anyway, I think that they're gonna really have to add it, but that's gonna be super confusing for users. A Bitcoin address looks just like a Bitcoin Cash address. It starts with a 1, or if it's multi-sig, it starts with a 3. So people end up sending to the wrong chain, and I'm sure that's already happened. People get mixed up, they send to the wrong address, and their coins are lost. But I think ultimately Coinbase is really going to have to add it, and if they don't, it kind of shows that they have an agenda. I think that it's going to pass Ethereum. Ethereum right now is at a $30 billion market cap. Bitcoin Cash right now today is at a $22 billion market cap and is trading for about $13.58 thereabouts, and is about 1/5 the value of Bitcoin. So I think that it could get to 50 billion here, like in the next few days. And then I think there's going to be kind of a shakeout of kind of what's going to happen with it. Bitcoin, I think, is going to continue to decrease. Bitcoin Cash is going to come up. But I don't think it'll get as big as Bitcoin, because a lot of these exchanges don't have it set up to where you can go straight from fiat to Bitcoin Cash. It's a lot of people converting altcoins and converting Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash right now. But ultimately, I think it could overtake Bitcoin. It could become the Bitcoin, and then the old Bitcoin could just become slow Bitcoin, or little block Bitcoin, or whatever we want to call it. And I'm not saying that to talk trash about Bitcoin. I just think that the scaling debate has went on too long. The blocks were filled up. Something needed to be done. But anyway, that's what's going on with Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to keep buying into it. I think it's going up to $50 billion market cap, and probably will go up to somewhere around $3,000 maybe, is what I'm kind of assuming. But we'll see. Thanks for attending the pool meeting. I'm super cold. See you guys later.